Good morning, everybody. All right. Well, yeah, I'm kind of surprised, but why should I be surprised that the market is giving back most of Friday's gain? Uh, it's just a trading range, as we all can see. Um, the way the buying came in, near the end of the day, I can move this back a little bit and we could look at, well, you could see here, you know, that was it, right? It was the turn down there where there was that spike down there just after 12:30, and it was a high tick reading, and it began to stabilize. And it's like, okay, technical pattern, this bottoming pattern there, and then they just might hit the bid, not the offer, right? Just buy with that strong close right into the top of the range. So it just looks like more ping pong as the I guess next worry economic report come out, for the extra confirmation. And so what do we do here? Well, wait for it to come to the bottom of the range. I guess you want to get on board, looking to short it to the bottom of the range. Things have been erratic. We got these pivot highs and lows here. Maybe it breaks down, but the safe trade would be down here at 5,600. Just looking at the futures, we'll look at S&Ps. But coming back down there, another bottoming kind of a pattern, could bounce back up. Now, the difference is, we got this green bar. Well, we had this green bar too, this 180 reversal, but it was, extended after that move, but it's had an extra week or so. So it was reasonable to think, we could get through the top here, but that's early. Look, there's nothing to the left here. It's building some support and some resistance. If it was able to flip up through here, we'd be in some choppy price action because now there's going to be sellers there. So the takeaway is, as I see it at this moment, there's just no advantage to any trades here anyway. Trading range could come back down to the range. You want some kind of scalper situation to get short. If it starts to break down there, or let it break, see if it retraces. To get a lower high to do it, and if it just waterfalls down, whatever, right? And just too erratic. Now, let me get to SPY. I mentioned this in the letter over the weekend in the video. Kind of weird. Not weird. Markets do what markets do. Let's just put it that way. Sometimes they follow the script of historical price recurring price patterns, right? And other times they don't. Some things get out of whack. And so what was interesting was, just looking at the weekly chart, you had this gap down and this amazing recovery, come all the way back, as you can see there, unfilled gap down below, trading range, consolidating the gain up at resistance, bullish price action, Friday's bar. Okay. If you can take out that high, you should make new all-time highs, plain and simple. However, the weekly chart with this slowing momentum candle here is the type of pattern that would historically lead to either a turn back down, not necessarily a full break, or maybe another week, or um, you could have, well, where it's gapping down to. You can see the cursor on the daily chart and where the cursor is on spiders. So, the gap down isn't of significance. It's just in the middle of the range. But on the weekly time frame, if it was gapping down here and it turned into a green bar, then we could have kind of bullish bar. But a slowing momentum candle at resistance after that run would suggest momentum's going to slow. And when there's no correction bar, define correction bar, Greg. Well, it didn't break a prior bar's low and reverse back up again. So we'll see. We don't have actionable patterns for swing trades on indices here. Not at this moment. That's the takeaway. Right? SPX. It's opening around here. That's where it is. Same weekly chart, of course. Daily chart consolidating. Strong close. Maybe we can get turned around today. Just a choppy day. There is some economics news coming out at 10 o'clock. Keep that in mind. SMI services. So maybe keep the powder dry until 10. Thing maybe some jiggles until then. Um, Considering where this is at, and the top strike moved up, uh, it's probably not getting there today. Not this morning anyway. Opening up down here, it'll either have to test the lows, which will make this a no-brainer, or it'll chop around, and you'll have time to reevaluate what's happening as to which way things might go, or whether they just stay within the trading range and do absolutely a lot of nothing here today as we wait. 5,600. Last week we spoke about that was a high open interest. All those options are gone. So restarting for this week today, same number, 5,600. Higher open interest, not as significant as last week, but likely that, look, if it comes down here, give or take, I suspect there'll be buyers again because there's nothing at the moment to break this support, and just an event, so to speak, and drive it lower. So we'll assume trading range, give or take, somewhere in here until something happens to suggest otherwise. Right? Down below here, it's in, right here in the middle, and it's far enough away that I don't think it's getting to either one. So if things start to break lower, I would just go for up here at the open, and if it breaks lower, if you can get, maybe a little below here, you've got these lows here. So this intraday, that's the bottom of the trading range, as you can see as I move the cursor around. Buyers should be down there. Maybe it may go nowhere, or for some reason things stabilize and it runs up into the Fed thing. The Fed comes out, they lower interest rates. Everybody got their wish, that this market's been trading on for the whole year. And after that, you know, maybe internals reach an extreme, which they're not right now, and things maybe get the September, whatever. So we're in waiting mode for pattern to develop, or what's going to create that pattern. So individual stocks, proper patterns, day trades, credit spreads. But as far as broader markets go, the expectation is they're probably going to run in place. So last week we talked about this hook pattern beginning to develop. It had to move down. It is developed. Now we need to see if it'll actually trigger and if it can move up. So this isn't a great pattern because it had this consolidation. So even moving up out of here, it's got to deal with this resistance. So we don't have patterns that are like, okay, this is it. This is a setup that we just want to do. There's a lot of these little hook patterns out there, especially in tech land. And we'll see what triggers today and what doesn't. You can see the weekly chart seriously underperforming the S&Ps. And this isn't a bad pattern, meaning, the bottoming tail bar, the wide range bar, does it stay in the upper half? Our factory work, as we call it, as to our interpretation of a wide range bar. Keep the closes in the upper part there. Tails are fine coming down there, and maybe a little more chopping around. And that would be fantastic. Reality is like, look, if it would come down here again and flip back up, get a little further away from this congestion, that would be an ideal type of a pattern. And when you get a pullback, you can get a pullback where the bars just come down bar by bar. The close, the next one opens there, and they just continue in that manner versus this little chop action, which creates overhead resistance. Now it could get through that, but you can theoretically, because historically it's going to deal with that. But if we can get a little more price action down here, where you get a little bit further away from this, or if it dips down and comes back up again, historically there's a greater ease to get through that since it's had more time to digest or get away from there. So we had the bottoming tail bar, QQQ, not a bad pattern. Still the same congestion. It's opening lower. It's in the middle of that range. You see the weekly chart. Chopping down to come down here and fill this gap. I don't know what it's going to do. I just know this pattern here, it's just not a high probability pattern. And looking at the weekly chart as explained, it's not aligned with the daily chart. But if we could get another week, maybe coming down here and it starts flipping back up, that would be historically a good pattern. You know, now we got to see, weekly chart maybe pulling back to the 20. You can see where my cursor is on the daily. It's in the unfilled gap. That's where I think we should be thinking about if we were to get some kind of stabilization here to think about buying down in the unfilled gap in the 20 MA. As of today, I'm not seeing it. Well, Robert is saying he believes that the gaps filled buyers will show up very strongly. Everything that we do here is based on beliefs. Right? So right now, right, how do we create beliefs? Well, support, resistance, trend, momentum moves, relative strength and weakness, unfilled gaps and moving averages to a certain extent, and so on, multiple time frame alignment. So it would make sense for buyers to show up down here. Let's see what happens when it gets there. IWM. Right, the underperformers look like they should be able to outperform. Same weekly chart, not great. Consolidating, right? Down this morning near the bottom of the range, no real damage being done. Normal type of price action based on the weekly to have some consolidation. The buying into the close on Friday was like they can't get enough of accumulating, which led to, okay, if they really want it, it should go up, after the holiday. And so far it's not. So we're waiting. Um, Take a look at the Dow, which has been showing relative strength, closed at a new all-time high, kind of messy type of a advance. But as you can see, the advance on Friday was get in, get in, get in. And now it's lower. Transports, same story. It was like buying across the board, top of the trading ranges and far off. So where's the next resistance? You don't have a big void, as we call it. Technology, same, that hook pattern that we talked about, that's gapping down here. Nvidia looks like it's going to go lower. You got sort of a 1, 2, 3, not what would put in the textbook, but a little common sense. Wide bar down, breaking below support. It's on a little support there, inside bar. It's got room to drop. Another thing is like, what about what will Apple do here? Where is Apple? Should it break below here, everything's going to start to look ugly. So far, it's just gapping down. The gap up, it's not doing much of anything. So something, set an alert down there. Let's see what it does. And retail, same little pullback going on there. Bitcoin up a little today. Just a big mess. Trading range is nothing to do here from my perspective. Gold, still in an uptrend, losing some momentum, but not a big deal right now. Too many overlapping bars, but it's new all-time highs. Silver coming down. What's going on there? I guess everybody came back from holiday and a little nervous, hitting the sell button. Oil's down a little bit, coming down to the bottom of the trading range. Not good for oil stocks, of course. See if buyers want to show up there again. Financials. I believe they will start to underperform. They're certainly extended in the short term. So where the real strength was. If you own these things that look like this, like maybe JP Morgan, if you own it, it's probably a good time to consider covered calls. You know, short-term extended, running up, you know, showing out of the money call. And yeah, and we've got the regional banks, which been doing okay. So everywhere we look, things are gapping down a little bit, not doing any significant damage. Uh, Semiconductors, same little hook pattern, gapping down to the bottom of the range. So kind of a neutral bias here to sit back and see how things unfold here in the next 20 or 30 minutes, maybe. Of course, we got 15 minutes to the open, and then we'll see how these things react to the support levels or not. Well, yours, Dan.
Yep. All right. Yeah, my bad. I'm on my laptop here. All right. Thanks. Good morning. All right. Cool. Thanks, Alex. All right. So what I was saying was, yeah, market's capping down, Greg, because, it's not a great place to be swinging. And, I agree. We're talking about the times that we push the throttle or at turning points where it's shooting fish in a barrel. But the point I wanted to clarify is we find amazing setups every single day. And of course, we want the broader markets to be with us. And folks in the green room know very well because I remind them of this, you know, every day when we're at times like this, kind of like your mother is telling you to, eat your vegetables and, look both ways before crossing the street. I'm like, okay, is that a pattern that is really going to go on its own without the help of a broader market? So, like, I'm just looking at my list here. We have 11 or 10 new ideas in the advisory letter this weekend. Some are just put spreads, some, directionals, options, this and that. But we'll go through them one by one and see if they trigger, if we still want them in light of what the market's doing right now. All right, enough of that. Hey, Doug, yeah, it's a beautiful buy setup. It's a tad deep retracement from this move, but that's fine. It's quality. Always get my weekly, monthly here. Nice monthly bottoming pattern. So yeah, Raul always has some good ideas for me. Hey, Raul, you need to email me on Saturday morning because I could put some of these in the letter. You have good ideas, so keep them coming. All right, let me look at my alarms going off and then big interest list and any news, etc. Halliburton, we had as a short idea. It's a big old bear rectangle in a downtrend daily, sell setup weekly, breakdown monthly. It's gapping down a lot. So it's gapping down a percent and a half. So the question is, and I always, Greg, I asked you this too. Do you want to do a 5-minute low, 30-minute low, sell setup on a bounce, which we may or may not get, scale in. So put Halbert here. Halbert said G. It's kind of a weird looking head and shoulder, left shoulder, gap reversals the head, closing breakdown, void to the gap fill, sell setup again on the weekly. Now, another comment I wanted to add when Greg talked about, a lot of hook patterns everywhere. And this is not an example, but so we have conflicting time frames. The hook pattern looks good on the daily, but there's so many that are sell setups on the weekly. So it's like, which one's gonna go? Netflix here, I guess, had an up alarm go off. This is what we call a bull rectangle. This is not a pending trade, but I obviously have alarms on a lot of things of interest. And this is amazing strength off the low, greater than 100% retracement, all-time highs, weekly, monthly. Look at this thing. Yeah, we're doing something right here. So not in a rush to do anything, but that would be, I think I'd look for a put spread when there's not enough juice. Greg mentioned the video. I said definitely looks lower. There was not good juice for a call spread, but I like it as a directional. It's gapping under all this 15-minute support, not bouncing. So I have that in this middle chart here. Ideally, it'll chop around for 30 minutes. And then under the low, we can, puts are going to be very expensive, but we'll come back and look at it. Tesla alarm. That's gapping up. So that's relative strength to the market. Let's see, here's an example of what I was saying. So beautiful hook pattern daily, but it's a sell setup that triggered last week, but with a bottoming tail. So is this going to, is last week's low gonna be the low of this retracement? So we can ignore it and just trade the daily pattern. But that's an example of what I was saying. But yeah, we have this as a put spread idea. Yeah, for directional, Alex, I just didn't know about the target because of this. This is another good example of what I said a few moments ago. Do I want this directional? And my can response is, I don't think it's going to go by itself unless the cues are strong. Now, granted, it has some news today, which is why it's gapping up to a relative strength. But with the cues gapping down, would I personally buy Tesla today as a directional? Well, again, my can answer is no because of the cues. But put it in a 5-minute chart and day trade is one idea. And number two, maybe after 30 minutes, I get more confidence that it's going to be on its own page or swing. Deer, Delta 20 is asking me. Yeah, it's kind of a big old inverse head and shoulder. I don't like it as a directional because of it still has resistance here, but it is in the weekend letter Delta 20 as a put spread over the high. And whenever there's 2 or 3 big stocks in a sector, we say that's like, let's create its own sector, so to speak. So other than manufacturing and the Dow and, big, whatever else beers in, big old ETFs and so forth, I immediately just look at the cousin, CAPS. So CAPS is a better directional. You see that? And it's so easy to see. Why? Because it's a closing breakout above this prior high with a void. So deer I like as a put spread. And cat I like as a directional. And I like the fact that it's gapping down. Why? Because it ain't going to trigger unless it's strong. All right, Delta 20, I hope all that helped. FCX and X are gapping down. This is a small Bear Island reversal. I'm right there on that gap down, and now it's gapping under this neckline. I just don't know what the target is. I think the target's only the gap fill, so I'm not crazy about this as a swing. But look at X. Also, I think I read Harris is, I don't know, yapping about something that's affecting these things. QChem was another bearish gap, 44.80. And well, that's gapping the support here too. Tail we're in. We shorted naked puts. We shorted the 21s and the 20 spot 50s, bottoming pattern. Boeing, we have a condor. It got a downgrade, so it's gapping down, but our short strike is way down here at 162.50. So we still have $4 of cushion for Friday expiration, but that's an ugly gap. That's hypothetically, if we had the 167s, which I would never do as a condor, the condor has to be wide. So we have the 180s and 162s. So, just boom. Oh, I lost your comment already. Okay, yeah, Robert's saying, yeah, he traded BOC Friday. Yeah, I mean that, regardless of saying 30 minutes, yeah, that just turned out to be a great entry. Yeah, a little 1, 2, 3. Banks were strong, breakout. We're still in this one, by the way. Yeah, I saw the big so I looked earlier, it said it was up 6%. So it's ugly. So VIX 16. Yeah, VIX is not online, doesn't move pretty market. I'm getting a bunch of alarms going off now. Flow. Flow is a bottoming pattern, long idea. All right, I'll just forget if these are official or not. Mm, flow into, all right, flow is not official, but I like the bottoming pattern. It's up a lot into the close, so let's maybe, particularly with the market. So back to Roberto's comment, that would be a fantastic 30-minute high. All right, Halliburton. Let's do a half lot under the low, same stop, of course, for self, bounce into the gap fill. And I don't know, let me check. Duke, yeah. Consolidation on an uptrend, red bars ignored. It's, looks like one of those safety plays here with the market falling. Look at, all right, Greg, you help me aggressiveness. I think this is going to the gap fill. I just hate chasing. That sure looks lower.
What did you ask me again?
Let's see. So PH puts for 575.60. Close the one. Let me look right now because I'm not in a rush. 88570. $75.60. Yeah, they're too spready, but yeah, see, right now, Don, my midpoint is $1.90. And it's a 180 right now, so let's just cancel it, so it's moot. But yes, I was take one more off the list. But yeah, this was just a quick start idea. I like when I don't have a lot of alarms going off, because then I don't have to C and C. C alarm. This one is not official. So this is, I think, maybe off Sammy Boy's list, just an alarm. Couldn't tell, I had a low alarm go off at 2150. It's okay. I think just reset it. Hey, W, I live on 7/11/14/18. Intel, no, it's Tesla, got over the entry. So that looks great. Yeah, that's my alarm just went off. So I'm on Dell, Dell over Friday's high. I like as a FIS, FIS, my Intel alarm, and we still put some of this. This is triggering. That I think was official, wasn't it? No, it's not. Ah, we're in it. We're in it. We're in it. All right, my bad. All right, so FIS we entered on Friday. So now we can move stop right here. 8158. That's 1/3 target, 82.95. And that's what hit. My up alarm target hit. Nice. Uh-oh, they're talking about Intel and CNBC. Is it in the doghouse again on news? This is FIS. Boy. Boy. Yeah, yeah, it's up 3 bars, but beautiful 15. So beautiful 15 there. Ron, do me a favor. I don't like this one as much. You know, hey, Ron, yeah, there you go. I had to drop down. Well, Ron, as a general comment, yes. As a secondary comment, let's take them one by one. Like shorts are good to go, right? Because, you know, unless it gaps. Tesla is a put spread. We are only going to get filled on a pullback. That's a beautiful pattern relative strength. So do you see my point? Of course, you can go have coffee at Dunkin' Donuts and come back is totally fine, but I gave you the honest answer. What? I can't call it honest. I'll say more accurate, more detailed. We'll take them one by one, and that's why I got my alarms. All right, flow. All right, I see down here, half lot of Al is hitting. All right, flow I like now over the date. Remember I said 30-minute high? So 23:30, I'll set a new alarm. Sammy boy, I think this is yours. So this is absolutely perfect. And hit the alarm earlier, let it bobble around, and after 10 a.m., then I like this bubbling thing. Said G. This thing just looks like a dead freaking animal. Also, cut down a bit. A lift alarm. Now, see, here's another one of those. Well, this is not a book pattern. It's just a bounce and a downturn and consolidating. But you got a sell set up on the weekly. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I never mind. Life becomes so much better. Yeah, me, green light. All right. What about other pendants? Mercy, mercy. Oh, I'm glad that did not trigger on Friday. It's still good to go if it does make it over Friday, but I think I remember I was saying, Alex, last week, the only thing I'd like better was bottoming tail, because I didn't know if I could trust that turn. DKS. This one we had as a naked put into earnings. There's earnings for this week, but you can get really far out of the money. But that looks like that one hit. Pullback. Look. Oh, that's until that was Nvidia. That was you are the gift that keeps on giving of weakness. That's why I did not trust it as a long, but I said, hey, let's sell a put and price improvement if assigned. That's what I said in the advisory. We also gave it as a naked put, like 20.5 as an income trade. CMG. That looks good. What was that one? 58. Oh, okay, so that still has a ways to go. Top of the range, I'd like it to go sideways more. Lot over Thursday, Ally over, not Thursday, Friday. Alpha X-ray, cat. Oh, cat. Let's cancel cat. What's this cousin deer doing? Remember, deer was just a Pittsburgh.
Twos are at the bottom of the range.
Yeah, see, a lot of these same, I'm just not doing with a weak market. Needs to go sideways a lot more. It's just that I don't like these that run 20%. Cubs alarm. Still not ready, but big old inverse head and shoulders. Here. Let's see, relative strength. Here it's holding better. Qualcomm, remember we had a put spread and we took our money on a bounce. So that's nothing trigger. Let's be looks like it's not going to trigger. Meta under last week's lows, a call from. Yeah, they will bottoming pattern. Needs to chop around a bit. I'll put it on the list. All right, well, two things, Sam, or three. Number one, I don't call that close. There's a big old gap there. Number two, even if it is to hit it, there's zero pattern. It's actually a breakdown. And number three, pay attention. See, Alex, that's my default answer to him whenever I forget my third point. I just throw in there, pay attention. So Microsoft green, let's see, there's another hook pattern. That's a hook. Cell setup weekly, so they're not in alignment. But this, if it closes strong, is a put spread idea. All right, pins. I had an alarm at 32.10, just went off. Bottoming pattern again. I mean, it's a hook and a nasty downtrend as opposed to the hook being above the 50, but it's still a sell setup on the weekly. So another one, they're not in alignment, so I'm not doing a darn thing right now. Let's see what we're doing with this. I have the 10. The 10.22. Stop that on Friday. Not bad. Wow, think traits obvious can be, but today's a definite something something bar. Wow.
Apple's coming to the bottom of that trading
Yes.
range.
Oh, and you know, whoever else was asking me about that waiting 30-minute high, or I guess we could talk about it. Yeah, and I said, well, case by case. But I wanted to emphasize is how important is that 10 a.m. number in terms of potential market movement. Also, it's that progress here in the morning. Off in November. Um, yeah, I don't nothing. Oh, shoot, SPX. So there, yeah, this is, shoot, I couldn't look at the failure. This is falling with MCX. This one stopped 30-minute low. ED, up alarm. Oh, yeah, PDD is one I got cream last week. There were like, it was not good juice, but let's see how it closes for possible directional. Yeah, my hub's alarm went off. I think I'd prefer to see how it closes. Is the giving it up. I bought a 1/3 lot and it stopped out this morning. The birds make the craziest sounds. This resort is in the mountains everywhere. Don't need an alarm clock either. These freaking birds wake you up at 5 a.m. Tell dog, look at that. I do not like that 5 and 15 minute chart. Kind of power. This thing looks like it's coming 2050 now. I don't like that at all. Day trade maybe. I like the gap reversal. See, we have a put through. Kramer talking about FCX now. That's, yeah. I clean, I moved stop 30-minute low. That's a failed buy setup. Well, low. 60. You have a call spread on that. Bill, holy, oh, you have the 175. It's a total mess. Tango. We bought that breakout there.